What if buying a home wasn't a transaction, but a transformation? Scott Harris is a top 250 agent nationwide with over 2 billion sold since 2003. He's the founder of Magnetic Real Estate and the author of The Pursuit of Home. Scott shares the story behind the Magnetic Method, why buyer readiness is an emotional journey, what actually drives home buying decisions, and why more than half of buyers experience regret, and how he's here trying to change that. We dive into the emotional journey every buyer goes through, the moments of clarity and hesitation, and the self-discovery that happens long before you ever step into a property. His ability to blend data, intuition, humanity, and heart into the real estate process is rare, and that's what makes him a true category of one. This conversation is heartfelt, it's practical, and it's one of the refreshing takes of what I've heard in the real estate industry around identity and what it really means to find a home. You're not going to want to miss this one. Let's dive right in. You've been doing real estate for quite some time. You have a very successful career in it, but tell me about this earlier version of Scott with Brown, Harris, Stevens, and we'll get into what you're up to now. But what was that career like for you? And what was the triggering point that had you want to make a shift and create your own category of one brand? Truth be told, that's actually why I brought you on here, because I was like, he's doing something very category one-esque. And so I want people to have the distinction. So what were you doing before? And then what was the shift?
Okay. I've been a real estate agent since 2003. And I think the truth is that I've always approached what I'm doing as just me. You know, they're doing it the way that I do it. And the way I was always working at a big shop. So first I started working at a company that was very focused on rentals, which you can make a living doing rental business in New York, but that felt very much like inconsistent with who I am. I was really, really good at it, but it felt very transactional, felt like a hustle. It didn't feel like I was connecting with people, but I was just trying to, frankly, like separate people from their money. Like you were just getting commission to find someone in a rental apartment. It didn't feel like it had a lot of integrity to it. I think and not that I had or didn't have integrity doing it. It just felt like the entire process felt like a hustle, and I just didn't like it. I moved into sales. I worked for Barbara Corcoran's company, Corcoran Group here in New York City, and that started to feel awesome. It felt great. Like I was suddenly doing work that felt like I was helping people move forward. It felt deeply, deeply like soul satisfying. Great, amazing. And I was slowly building that practice. And then I moved in 2007 to the company where I stayed for 18 years, and I was building my brand. I was working on a team, someone else's team. And then in 2010, I launched my own team. You and I met somewhere around that time. And I started to bring on an assistant and then burn her out. And then I was really all of the mistakes that one can make running a team. Working for a big shop means that you're able to shine, and they're able to try to get you PR, and you're doing some of those things, but you're always an agent at a team. It was great. I had great support, and I felt very good that I had all of these resources available. And sort of fast forward 10 years, my business had grown. I had brought on much more of a support network, really a business inside of the business. And in 2020, when COVID happened, my business went to zero. Like a lot of people, it was actually illegal for real estate agents to show properties in New York and in a lot of places.
Really?
And it gave me the chance, this like golden opportunity to step back from everything I was doing and look at it and go, what is it that I'm actually doing? What is the essence of what I'm doing? You know, if I can't do any business, what is it that I want to do with this platform that I have? And what bubbled up for me during that time is all of these people are stuck in apartments and they are cleaning their houses. It's spring of 2020. You can imagine it, right? People maybe go outside with a mask, and it's 7:00 at night here. People were banging on pots and pans, like celebrating health workers. I mean, it's like hard to remember that time. What I wanted to do is help these people that are stuck in their houses cleaning all the time. I wanted them to get all the things they're ready to get out of their house, spring cleaning wise, and get it donated. I created this program called the Spring Clean Challenge. I had all these relationships with moving companies, and I knew the CEO of Goodwill, New York, New Jersey. We created this pipeline where we got over 100,000 pounds of donated goods out of people's apartments and over to Goodwill's warehouse in Queens. And it felt so good to give back to people. It just seemed like the right thing to do. It was like a need that was obvious. I was able to fill it. 5,000 people signed up on our mailing list. We had moving vans touring around the city, picking up donated items. And right out of COVID, my business like hockey sticked. It went straight up, and we had our best years. I mean, boom, 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 all the way until through 2024. This giving back thing felt really good. This being of service thing felt really good. And I felt like we really had like a clear sense. I wanted to help the brokerage industry be better, be more professional. I wanted to help buyers and sellers have a better experience. And here's this like open-hearted guy, me. I'm doing this in a way that's like in New York City. And people imagine New York City is like, well, if you leave your door open for 5 seconds, someone's going to run in and steal your car. People have this idea that New York is so competitive and so cutthroat. And here I am, this open-hearted guy having like really, really a lot of success. And I'm really grateful for it. I'm not saying to like brag. I'm just saying we were doing it in a way that was really consistent with who we were and doing great. And I never felt like I was competing.
Yeah.
Sure, we lose business here and there, but we're just doing what we do. And it kept getting better and better. And then last year, I mean, I had been writing what became a book for the last 2 or 3 years, but I got a book deal last year and the book is coming out imminently. For a long time, we had this working phrase or this working title for what we do. We called it visionary brokerage, where we're helping people create a vision for what it is that they want to achieve. And it never felt 100% like, this doesn't feel exactly right. And then one day we start talking about that. This is really about attracting the results that you want, attracting. And I'm breaking the 4-step process that we have into different phrases. And all of a sudden what came out was, I want to call this the magnetic method. And it was like, oh. And then I'm like, I want to call my company magnetic. Like it just made total sense that the way to attract what matters most to you is to create like all the things we were already doing, but it just put language around it in a way that felt like, oh my God, I have to change visionary broker. I had to go into the manuscript and make all these changes. And then all of a sudden it was like, I was already in discussion about the potential of launching my own company. I'm like, we're doing it. It was like the book and the insight of calling this the magnetic method really was the catalyst to deciding I'm going to launch this company. It was like this whole like a domino effect.
And so what happened after that? So you said yes. It felt like a full body yes for you. What opportunities, people, resources started to open up newly that weren't there before under the old brand or under the old version of who you were?
Well, we ended up partnering with what we like to call like an invisible brokerage or a vendor partner, somebody to sort of capitalize the transition from being at a big shop to launching the company. So that showed up in a really beautiful way. Incredible people, a company called Side that ended up being able to give us amazing resources to brand what we're doing. We just had all these great resources to create logos and websites and all the stuff, all the back of house stuff that needs to happen to get launched as a real estate company. We were really like in it day in, day out for about 2 months getting ready to launch. And it was like just a lot of energy. I have a wonderful operating partner that was really there for the whole, at my side the whole time. I had a lot of conversations with clients just to feel really good that this was on the way, happening, and it just felt like very aligned. And so that was another just really nice surprise. But I think it was more than anything, like I was talking to my friends who were IP lawyers, just all the little details that just felt like very supported. Everyone that I needed to talk to kind of opened themselves up to have those conversations. It felt great.
More encouragement, more alignment then. Would you say that this is your fullest expression of being a category of one? Well, what does being a category of one brand mean to you?
Ree, I actually believe that everyone has this within them, that there's something. I mean, this is my approach to real estate agents when they are considering joining my team, or when I'm interviewing people, just buyers, sellers, or I'm meeting somebody at a cocktail party. I really believe there's something that makes them special. So I think at the heart of it, we're all incredibly interesting, special people with a story to tell. And it's just a function of finding who that is. But certainly in real estate, you want to say yes to everyone, and you want to be able to help everybody you can. And sometimes that teeters into not being authentic to who you are. So I think
Maybe when you're just starting out, though, right?
when you're getting started, right?
Yeah.
You realize over time you make enough mistakes saying yes to things you should say no to, not setting boundaries and all these things. I think being a category of one, being a brand where you really are clear on who you are, means that when you stay in that place, it's like the yes, the no, what you can agree to, the communication becomes really clear and kind. I make this distinction in my book. And a very close friend of mine named Sam Jacobs wrote a book all about this, about the difference between kindness and being kind and being nice. Being kind is about saying what needs to be said. Being nice is saying what you think needs to be said. And I think being a category of one means, for me anyway, is that there's a kindness to what you do. There's a clarity to what you do. There's an ability that your caring shines through everything you're doing, so that whatever happens, that you can figure it out together with someone. For me, but it is, you asked, like, is it the most full expression of who I am? I think real estate right now, this is the vehicle for me to help people move forward in their lives. Whatever I'm doing, I want to help people move forward in their lives. And so Magnetic is the fullest expression of my ability to use real estate as a vehicle, for sure.
Are you getting any sort of naysayers or any people who are like, kind of, I guess maybe you wouldn't know, but any negative reactions to this new path that you're charting?
There's a wonderful quote, and it says, "I want to be your first love, your second wife, and your third real estate agent." Often when people don't hire you at first, it's because they have some stuff to work out. It's not about you anyway. They'll come back to us and say, maybe we didn't hire you at first. We made a mistake. We overpriced the property. We weren't ready to hear what you needed to say. So I think that, and sometimes we don't win, and they say, Scott, you were right about the price. And they had ended up lowering it to the right level eventually. I think ultimately that we win enough business that it's not like a zero-sum game, right? But I think we're bringing on amazing agents. We're building the company that we know we want to build. And there's never been a more level playing field as a real estate company with technology where it is, where we can really put out our branding the way we know how to do it. We can be really super strategic and be service oriented in a way that both, really takes good care of our clients, but also gets the job done. Recently, we had somebody else who said, "Hey, I want to refer you to this person. You're just not a jerk." I know that sort of sounds like the bar is low, but meaning that's just the way they articulated it. But I know what they mean is that we really care about our clients and we go the extra mile. I was called a lovely broker once. The woman said, "I know that's an oxymoron, Scott." And I was like, "What?"
Cool. So let's talk about your book, because I remember reading the first chapter or so in your book, and then also I had a side conversation with you talking about the home. So what's the message that you're trying to convey with this book, and why now?
The main message is this, that finding a home is really as important. It's almost as important as, say, finding the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. I believe that home is the launch pad for everything you're trying to create in your life. You spend more time at home. And if you can find a home that really, truly supports you, not only is it going to help you do amazing things, but in the process of finding that home, you're going to get to know yourself a whole lot better. So finding a home is this emotional journey of self-exploration, self-discovery, and everyone does it. 65% of Americans own their homes. So this is this very well-traveled journey that so many people take at a time when we're so divided as a nation, when there's so much separation, this thing that can bring us all together, and the outcomes, are so bad. More than half of the people interviewed have significant remorse after they've closed on their home. Something is very broken.
What do you think the statistic is in terms of how many people have this buyer's remorse or this regret?
Oh, it's like 51, it's more than 50% of people
Wild.
have remorse about buying their home. And I think it's because they go into the process with a whole set of expectations from reality TV and social media that are not what the actual process is. And it occurred to me after doing this for 20 years that we somehow are doing something in a way that I think people really enjoy the process, even when the times are tough. Can I write a book that really lays out what this process looks like? What are the bumps in the road? What are the obstacles? How can you be prepared for this process in a more wholesome, in a more nourishing way, in a more holistic way? People spend 2 hours and 23 minutes on average every single day on social media, but they won't spend 10 minutes choosing the real estate agent that's going to help them make one of the most important decisions they're going to make in their life. And I believe there's a lot of room for people to be much better prepared for this journey. So the book is like a really fun, encouraging, easily, a really breezy book about how do you understand this process and get to know yourself better and get to and have a better method for choosing an agent who speaks your language. And how do you get prepared for when all of your own personal issues come out to play when you get your offer accepted, your first offer accepted, when you're looking to buy a house. All of a sudden, if you have money issues, they show up. If you have trust issues, they show up. So like, what do you need to be prepared for? So it's a whole process that I think people just need to be prepared for. And when they are, they can have a really fun time focused on the things that are important to them with a team around them that can focus on the other things, can really hold their hand and hold space for them to guide them to a home that they would love.
Does it ever go through your process and they actually realize, oh, I'm actually not ready to buy a home?
Oh, sure. It happens all the time. People aren't ready. We'll give you an example. A couple came into my office. We sat down. Often one person in the relationship, and by the way, over 70% of people who buy homes are a couple. So it's very common that it's two people walking in the door. One person's very excited. The other person's very quiet. They're about to get married. They're so fired up. And in this case, it was a woman. She's very excited, telling monologues about what they want their home to look like. And the fiance, the guy, is just not
into it,
saying anything. He's clearly not on the same page. And I give them some homework to do. Hey, fill out this form. Let's fill out this checklist. Go get pre-approved for your mortgage. After all the big dreaming, then let's a couple practical homework steps, and then I'll never hear from them again. Like it happens. That happens more often than you think.
Not even to close the loop and be like, "Hey, Scott, we decided."
Right, nothing. That happens sometimes.
Wow.
Another example: people will start looking for a home, and they're very, very much not aligned. Like one party is like just so clearly not wanting to buy anything. Now and then, it's like, wow, I hear like a year later they're getting divorced. I'm like the very, very early signs of that. And sometimes it's just that one person thinks they can afford it and the other person doesn't. And sometimes they leave the city, but oftentimes people aren't ready and they need to take a step back. I think the big takeaway, Ree, is that it's not that the real estate agent knows everything and can just like make it happen. This is a process of self-discovery for people. Like my job is just to sort of hold space and take care of all the transactional stuff so that you can focus on the important stuff. And so I don't have the answers. It's like, I just need so people can feel comfortable to dream bigger and to really expand their vision of what they really want. They think they know what they want. They think they come in with a checklist, and then they go look at properties that check all the boxes and they don't like them. What's that disconnect? How come you hate everything that's on your checklist? It's because that checklist really isn't what you want. So how do we get underneath to really find that? So it's mostly a good agent's job is to help everything come to light.
Can you tease us with one of the steps in the 4-step process?
Sure. We can talk about just exactly what you said. Often you think you know what you want, or I spend some time, I give people the chance to do a self-assessment so they can understand their own communication style when it comes to buying homes. Are you data driven? Are you more of a kind of a CEO executive type? Just give me the bullet points. Are you more concerned about all the people in your life and what you're going to do?
Like, what kind of buyer are they?
And usually if you're a couple, then it's, the two people are usually not the exact same style. Armed with that, you might get really excited about something and because you can kind of envision yourself in it, and the other person's like, I can't see it, I'm not sure, so you have those kinds of friction. But often the best way, the way to provoke, kind of get everybody aligned, because the second step of the magnetic method is align. You got to get everybody rowing in the same direction. You got to get everyone kind of caught up to that excitement level. And the best way to do that is actually to make offers, which sounds very counterintuitive. Like people say, oh, I don't want to make an offer until I'm ready. What I'm saying is once you kind of get to maybe 6 out of 10 on your checklist, make an offer. In some markets, you can't just make an offer. Okay. But in many markets, there's a way to do it so that you make an offer. And if the seller accepts your offer, you want to make sure, obviously, it's not like legally binding, but see how you react to it, because your neck down reaction is the true answer. And sometimes the only way to find out what's really true for you in your gut is to make that offer, because you're in your head all the time. Oh, I would love this, but you're not actually, what you like is something deeper. And you have to sort of get underneath the hood, as it were, to get to the truth. And it's hard because we're so programmed. And I write all about this in chapter 4, that we're so programmed from childhood. Every sitcom, every movie, there's a house, there's a scene in everything. Like every Nancy Meyers movie, you see the perfectly manicured house, and like maybe it looks good, and maybe we watch reality TV and we think we like a certain kitchen. We want an open kitchen. We don't. But then when push comes to shove, maybe we like something else. Maybe what's true for us is completely different. And so you have to find a way underneath to get to that truth. And it often isn't, it's a little hard to get there. So we have to like really interrogate to get people aligned. So it's quite a process. It's not quite a process. It's just a process. It's actually quite easy. You just have to make offers, and then you get to the truth really fast. But people are scared to make offers. But you got to put yourself out there. What's the phrase? You got to put yourself out on like skinny branches. You got to be willing to find out the news. What if you lose a bidding war? That's good information. It's not, everybody focuses on the one that got away, but what they don't realize is I'm one step closer to understanding what I really would love. Get the visuals. All of a sudden you're like, oh, I really love that kitchen. Gosh, I really love it. You need supportive people in your life to sort of give you feedback. I really argue you want to have a team that really allows you, they aren't going to shut you down. They're the people you call when you have a problem, when you want to share your joy as much as you want to share your sadness. And you don't want to share this journey too much with people that are jealous. You want people that really are like the ones who support you at every phase of your life. They're like the cheerleaders for you. And not to say like that you don't want to have people who give you that kind of practical advice. You do, but they mean it, like they're coming at it with love.
And the pursuit of home really is, like you say, it's life, identity, and purpose. It's so much more than the perfection.
This generation of home buyers is so used to everything being perfect. Perfection is not what it's about. It has to be perfect for you, but like it's not perfectly manicured. That's not what life looks like. Life is a little messy. And so people go from everything on Instagram being perfectly manicured to the real life. And it's that mismatch that really throws people for a loop. So I want to help people get into the real world.
Listen, if people wanted to find out a little bit more about you, your book, or Magnetic, where should we send them to?
Best place to go is to pursueyourhome.com. They go there, they can get all sorts of free resources to assist them in their own pursuit of home. And they can buy the book if they want. They can get a questionnaire. What are the questions I need to ask of a real estate agent so I can be better prepared to have somebody speak my language? There's an assessment there. They can learn their own communication style. How awesome would that be is if you can go to your real estate agent and say, I need more data. because that's going to make me feel comfortable, right? And
That's awesome.
so, there they can find Magnetic, and they can find all my socials and all that other stuff.
Pursueyourhome.com. That's brilliant to have an assessment, because sometimes that's usually like the first thing for people to kind of have an awareness of like, oh, this, this is how I buy or whatever. So definitely look forward to checking out that assessment for the next time I'm looking to buy a home. And if you are looking to buy a home, go check that out. Go check out Scott Harris. Scott, my friend, I can't believe it's been almost a couple decades. I don't know. I can't do the math, but it's been some time.
Yeah.
We're both on this journey of life together. We're both on this journey of entrepreneurship and building businesses. And I would say that we do have in common, we're both on this journey of being of service to people and helping people find themselves, find home, you in the physical sense, and also in the esoteric sense, I suppose, their identity. And certainly me in the sense of like really people finding home and who they are as a brand. Thank you for being on the show. Thanks for being a yes to this. And I look forward to seeing you in New York next time soon.
I can't wait. Thanks, Ree.
Thank you for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed this episode and that you gathered at least one nugget that you can take into your life today. To dive deeper into my work, please visit reperez.com. That's reperez.com. It's a central hub to explore how to work one-on-one with me, to connect with me on Instagram or social media, or you can check out my new book, Your Brand Should Be Gay Even If You're Not, or you can inquire about booking me to speak to your audiences about the power of building a category of one brand, your unique gifts and your unique superpowers. Lean into what sets you apart, and I'll see you next week.